My name is Melinda McNeil. I'm a second-year OBGYN resident in Austin, Texas, and I'm part of a collaborative effort to try to start a clinic for victims of human trafficking here in Texas. I hope that this grant can be used to create an educational tool that can be spread throughout this country and really worldwide to help people, healthcare providers in particular, be aware of signs of human trafficking and of resources that are available to women victims when they're identified. It really is a global effort to end this. It's a huge problem, and a problem that we come across every day. We just don't recognize it. And hopefully in creating something educational and something inspiring, we can get people to join the fight to end modern day slavery.
The need that I've seen is just being able to identify human trafficking victims, potential trafficking victims. What I came to realize once the victims were being referred to us were these victims and survivors were all around me. They were at the same HEB, shopping at the same supermarket as me, going to the same parks, taking their kids to schools that I pass every day. But it's just the lack of education of identifying victims of human trafficking. That is what really I felt the need was for the community. Medical service providers play a huge part in not only serving survivors of human trafficking, but also identifying survivors and victims. I've had the opportunity to work with nurses and doctors who thought something was not right with a victim, that they decided to make a report. They identified some things like the victim was sleeping in a garage and not being able to be allowed outside of her home, and this is during the summer in Texas, and an elderly, and so being able to kind of put two things together and really listen to their gut feeling that something's wrong.
Hello, my name is Ted Held. I'm an assistant professor of OB-GYN at UT Southwestern's residency programs in Austin, Texas. Due to our state size and proximity to the border, our state houses about 10 to 15% of human and sexual trafficking victims. Here in Texas, most victims are from Mexico. Nationally, in addition to Latin America, victims are most trafficked from Thailand and the Philippines, as well as the rest of Asia. In response to the prevalence of victims in Texas, our department has partnered with the University of Texas at Austin School of Social Work's Institute on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, as well as with Law Enforcement and Refugee Services of Texas, to provide interdisciplinary medical, legal, and psychological care to these victims. Through our work, we have come to realize that there is an urgent need to educate healthcare providers about the existence of human trafficking in our communities and how to identify and treat such victims. Up to 50% of victims access healthcare during their captivity. However, most providers do not recognize that their patients are essentially slaves and thus miss an opportunity to remove them from their tragic situations. We hope to secure APCO funding in order to train healthcare providers, including students, residents, and practicing physicians, how to recognize, treat, and appropriately refer victims of human trafficking.